All right. Are we there yet?
We're good to go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We're back to the agenda. Any changes, additions to the agenda as we get ready to start? Hearing none, we'll proceed. The minutes for our last meeting, January 18. I think those have been circulated. Anyone, any changes or additions to those minutes? If not, we'll entertain a motion for their approval.
A motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Second?
Greg, this is Nancy. I'll second.
Thank you, Nancy. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor of approval of the January 18, 2023 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. I don't know if we have any members of the public with us, but if we do, now is the time for public comment. Hearing none, we'll move along to our agency reports for Southern Appalachian. Jess, I saw you were on here.
Good morning, everyone. We've got no new closings in the county since our last meeting, but we are actively working on quite a few projects that this board has voted to support, and working through the due diligence on those, and then always having further conversations with landowners who are interested for the future. We're also kind of, as we've gone through the budgeting process for upcoming fiscal year requests, I know Michelle has on her calendar to come before this board for a couple of meetings with new projects to present. And then we're also sort of plotting the course and thinking about the bond funds once those become available, and what types of projects we might be able to accomplish when those funds become available. So lots of sort of planning at the moment, but no new closings right now to report.
Okay, great. Anyone from Conserving Carolina?
I didn't hear back from anyone.
Okay. And anybody from Riverlink? No? All right. Well, we're zipping right along. Ariel, one, tell us how you are, and two, you're going to give us a little update from Buncombe County Ag Resource.
Yes, perfect. Alrighty, so right now, like Jess mentioned, we've been working. It's morning before my husband takes my son to work, so sorry about that. Okay, so basically, we are working with the Land Trust to allocate the remainder of this fiscal year's funding. I think we have 4 projects coming from SAC. They're going to be presented at March and April board meetings, and then 1 from Conserving Carolina. So we'll be seeing probably about 5 projects between now and June coming to the board. So that's exciting. We'll be having lots of fun farm visits and presentations to evaluate. So that's kind of the general budget update. But we have just been able to hire the new open space bond manager that will be helping coordinate the 3 kind of pots of money for the open space bond. So her name is Jill Carter. And so that's exciting. We're happy to have her on board. I think this is week 2 for her. So trying to get her up to speed, and I think work with her on really developing those passive recreation lands criteria. So I think last meeting I may have given an update saying, we were doing the public engagement, process, and then bringing that criteria to the board, but that has been pushed back a little bit because we wanted to make sure that Jill was involved. So that's kind of the gist of that, then we have the Friends of Ag. We're doing a Friends of Ag breakfast this, let's see, I think it's April 18th at the Weaverville Community Center. So everyone is welcome. It starts at 8:30. And we hope to have Jill, the new open space bond manager, speak at that. We'll hopefully have an opening from Terry Wells, have Jill talk about the bond, and then I hope to speak kind of briefly on how the bond will affect the ag community. So everyone's welcome. We'll send more info on that, but if you're interested, mark your date or mark your calendars for April 18th. And then really what I want to talk about today is to talk more about the conservation donor dinner that we had. We kind of sent some emails out over the last month about, let's see, about the date. So the date is May 11th. It's a Thursday. So that seemed to work the best for everybody, but there's a few items I want to cover. I know in the past, and I've been working a lot with Nancy. So Nancy, chime in throughout this whole, part to help me navigate it because you are the pro. But it seems like in the past, the board has kind of honored 3 categories: Conservationist of the Year, Legacy Award, I believe, and then just like families that have donated easements. So I have a rough tally between 2017, the last time we had the dinner, and now we have about 30 easements that have closed. So that's a lot of that's a lot of great work, but it's also a lot to honor. So I've sent that list out to both to all of the land trusts to confirm that that's all that they have closed in that time period. But so that's kind of the easy category to figure out. But then I know Nancy and I had talked about, we want to talk with the board and see what your thoughts are for that Legacy Award and the Conservationist of the Year Award. So I will, let you guys kind of talk about that if you want to.
Yeah, comments on that. I mean, the Conservationist of the Year, I think we did. The intention was to do that every year, of course. The Legacy Award, Nancy, remind me, I'm not sure that was kind of required or intended to be an every year award, but certainly in appropriate cases for that Legacy Award to be given.
Oh, Nancy, you're muted.
Nancy, if you'll unmute there,
Oh, there you go.
there we go.
Yeah, we started that back in 2014. We've had 3 recipients. It has not been necessary to have it every year, and I think it's only given when we have an outstanding person.
Well, and with 30 of these, we may well find one, I guess, but certainly not opposed to making the award. I just wanted us to have it in mind. Is it an annual thing or is it a as deserved? Not that all these folks aren't deserving, but it was just kind of a notch above.
I recall the latter also. And if I'm not mistaken, those are typically more than one-time donor type situations. So there's some history more than just a single easement or something very significant about the easement that was placed.
I agree, Matt, and it's also of the people that we have given it to, the first one actually went to David Gant as a partner in all he did for us, and then I think the next 2 were you've got the list, Ariel.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. It was David Gant, Bill Duckett, right? Or was that Legacy? Or Anyway, there's been 3 of them. What I was gonna suggest for this year, and just I'm throwing this out, is that we give this to Karen Craig Nolan posthumously. Because this was a person, I mean, besides that she was one of my best friends, she was on this committee, and gosh, we've got a park named after her. And if anybody really pushed for, I'm gonna say, unconventional easements, she was the one that got Riverlink recognized as somebody who could hold easements. And she was always the one who was pushing for, the little scrap of land next to the French Broad that she thought was important. And that was not really in our primary mission when we started. So I want to throw that out. And I think, did we talk about Terry Wells at all?
Yeah, that was kind of something, we were brainstorming the potential of the conservationist of the year being being Terry, because she's been so instrumental in getting increased funding, but also in the bond process.
Right. And an early donor. I mean,
Yes.
and she lives in an area where her presence has just, I think, been instrumental in getting landowners to understand how important this work is. And she has become kind of she is the champion here in the county. And she's spread her word not only personally, but she certainly showed her leadership on this bond issue. So yeah, I was thinking her Conservationist of the Year and Karen for the Legacy Award. Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. I think both those ladies, certainly Karen's contributions to the community are extraordinary in lots and lots of ways. The Conservationist of the Year, to me, is more of an active current contributor of an easement. And while I think Terry is critically important and has been, she kind of falls in that legacy category for me, as opposed to Conservationist of the Year. Would just be my personal thought on that, or something entirely different for Terry.
I would tend to agree, Greg. I
Yeah.
feel like Terry's credential kind of falls into that legacy category a little bit more for me. As I try to think of it both ways, though, with 30 easements and a pretty good significant amount of time since we did this previously, it may justify thinking of it a little bit more of a legacy type situation, since that has been a significant impact this year. But generally speaking, I think I would lean towards a person who had, or family or group who had done an easement specifically for the Conservationist of the Year, even though we might have to span it over more than a year's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it possible to do 2 legacy awards for this dinner? Or would you like to keep one? Does it make the other not as, valued or something?
Well, we haven't done it in 5 years, so I think we probably have a little leeway.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna do anything with Karen, though, I think it should be done this year.
Yes.
And then, and then let that go. Terry, I have a feeling is gonna be a force in our midst for many years to come. So if we do 2, I mean, hey, I'm all for having people stand up, but Matt makes a very valid point. We have to figure out some way to funnel through 30 easement people and then a couple legacies and then a Conservationist of the Year, and still have us out by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Can we get a list of those donations since then, that we can go ahead and circulate and let everybody be looking at that and the relative, and all those are important, large or small. But I think we've just tried to frame it a little differently for the awards, and we probably all need to think through that a little bit more.
Yes, absolutely. We'll send that list
But
Um,
sharing-
it's,
sharing
but I
experience
kind
is
of,
great.
I was waiting to make sure that I confirmed the list with all the land trusts before I shared it, so that I knew it was the right list. And I think I'm waiting for Conserving Carolina and SAC. So I don't know if you're okay with me waiting until I get it confirmed with the land trust, then I'll still send the official list, or if you'd like me to send the draft, I can send the draft.
Why don't we go ahead and get it confirmed? I'm assuming another week or so.
Yeah.
Get it out to everybody. Okay.
Yeah, it's on my to-do list today, Ariel.
Oh yeah, no pressure, Jess. Not putting you on the spot. Yeah, that sounds perfect. The other thing that is good to be thinking about at the same time as you look at these 30 easements is the fact that in the past, I know you guys have had plaques for every easement donation. And with rising food costs and all that, our budget is definitely not going to be able to cover 30 plaques. We have enough for the catering, enough for the event rental, and probably enough for a few plaques, but we will be needing to search for some type of potential donation. And yeah, just wanted to bring that piece up. Oh, another piece to mention is that after talking with county management and risk management and all of that, liability stuff with the county really doesn't want us to serve alcohol this year. Because it's more of a funded county event, we're a bit more in the spotlight now. I think they would really prefer us to not have alcohol at the event. I know that is a bummer for some, but I know a lot of our landowners are not big drinkers anyway, so there's that. So that being said, we won't be spending funds on beverages. We'll have lemonade, sweet tea, those kinds of things. But
do we have an idea on how much the plaques would be?
I am searching. We're doing some research on cost. They can vary from 35 to 50 each. That's kind of what I'm seeing. So yeah, it'll be close to like $1,000 or so. But I can get specific estimates to the board once I've kind of secured a vendor.
Ariel,
Yes.
did you think any more about, instead of having plaques, of having the signs, which I think are great? And I personally think that is unless they get a sign when they sign up, I think having those signs is better than having a plaque that you stick in a drawer.
Yeah, that was something. So talking amongst our staff on the county level, we were like just thinking through the usefulness of a plaque. Do people put it up in their house? I don't know. Would a landowner prefer, a pretty sign that they could hang on a fence that said, conservationist of the year, or whatever. We would have some nice language on there, but maybe that's more visible. Maybe that's better for the board. We have different options. So a metal sign that would be an outside on a barn or a fence, something like that, is another option to a plaque. I know our landowner, we have a lot of signs that we give out with some of our easements, and folks love them. They love to, it's like bragging rights, right? On the road, people are asking about it. How did you do that? Oh, maybe it's a way to plant a seed. So yeah, that's another idea we brainstorm to potentially replace plaques.
Later, go ahead.
Yeah, I have maybe a clarifying question. I seem to remember last time we did this back in 2017 that there was a fundraising component, that we raised money for the conservation celebration in the summer, and that the money was held either by the Highlands Conservancy or Riverlink. I can't remember which organization. Riverlink. Do we still have funds with Riverlink? And if we felt strongly about having beer and alcohol, maybe we could make this a funded event that we just pass around the hat and do it that way. That's not an argument for beer, by the way, but
Later, Ariel, can I answer that? Just first of all, this is now, you know, in the past, all of our donor dinners were personally funded. I mean,
Yeah.
people like Albert and Greg and Christy Malier was the one that always, you know, brought the alcohol, and whoever was representing our local brewery industry, you know, donated the beer. So we never spent any money on alcohol except
Mhm.
one or two people. That
Yeah.
said, those of you who were around at that time, we actually were planning a 2018 event, and it totally dropped. And one of the problems is that we had run out. We didn't have any money left, and actually looking back in the records, we still owe Christy Malier $750 if we want to, you know, even things up. But you know, she's made that a contribution by this point. My
Yeah.
point is, we've changed the status of this, and now that the county is paying, and again, like Ariel said, we're under such a the watchdogs are there, and that I don't think that really is the problem. It's that alcohol just doesn't belong at this event, and I think that if you look at who drinks the lemonade and the sweet tea, it's the people who donated, and they can do without a beer for an evening and get home safely. So
Yeah.
that's where I wanted to mention.
I guess the thing that I was mostly concerned about was the 30 people that, you know, that if we were going to come up short money wise, I would hate to, you know, this year they got a postcard and next year it's a plaque just because we didn't have the money to do it the right way. And so I guess that was my way of bringing up that if the county doesn't have enough money to make this event right, is it still an option for us to pass around the hat and make sure that all of those 30 easements are properly acknowledged?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I think that's kind of where it was going, was that, yeah, we have enough to fund the food, fund the event space. But yes, I think we don't want to, you know, do a postcard this year and then go back to plaques next year. If we make a change to a sign or to something else, I think that change needs to stay, you know, going forward. And so, any advice on collecting donations or potential sponsors, we're happy to have.
I do think it's important to recognize them with something tangible, whether that's a sign or a plaque. I'm happy to help support that as well. I'm sure probably some others would be as well. But I think we just need to decide what we're trying to do and how much of that costs so we can have a target kind of amount that we need to supplement. Certainly appreciate the county, you know, picking up the major part of the cost for the event and the catering. But if we need to support that somewhat, I think that would be good.
Okay, so what I can do is get an estimate on how much plaques would be for 30, how much signs would be for 30, and then get you guys kind of a budget of what we still need to get covered. And then, then we can kind of piecemeal it all together. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Sounds good. And the Legacy Award, Nancy, was that the one we did pretty special? That was a very nice award.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I can't remember who it was, but we gave somebody this really neat wood, like slab of wood, with the plaque on that. I've got a picture of that somewhere, but it was David Gant, Bill Duckett, and Bill and Mabel were not at that event, and Kevin and Steve, the two cousins or maybe brothers. Anyway, they accepted that award for Bill Duckett. And then I think the third one was the McKay family. But I'm not sure about that. That could have been a Conservationist of the Year award.
Okay.
Do you remember where you got the nice wooden one? Or was it at this?
Somebody made that. Who is our Ducks Unlimited guy? Hearn, no,
Damon?
Damon,
who?
Damon, wasn't it?
Damon, yeah, I
Okay.
think
He had somebody
he made
who
that.
actually
Damon
made
Hearn.
that award, and that was really neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was made out of, kind of like a special tree or something. I mean, there was a
Yeah.
backstory to that.
Okay.
I think the David Gant was just a big old plaque, that he had probably 100 of in his office, but, and God, just, I know, I can look offline and see who our conservation, or the third legacy person was. But, yeah, they were special, Greg, for sure.
Yeah, Ariel, could you touch base with Damon? I'm sure you probably still run into him some from time to time, or Avni,
Yeah.
and just figure out where those came from. I'm trying to remember if we actually paid something for those, Nancy, or not, but Damon would remember that.
Well, now wait, you mean just the 3? He only did that 1 year. He only
Right.
did, and it was for a specific person.
Yeah. I think I saw a picture with the ducats.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
So,
ducats
yeah.
but didn't I send you the list of I did, Ariel.
Yeah, I have the list. I'm just sharing my screen right now, so I can't pull up a bunch of.
Oh,
well, actually,
all right,
not staring my screen. I'm just looking at pictures.
Oh, hold
Um,
on, while you're
here,
doing
I
that,
can-
hold on, because I did send Ariel those lists, just a second.
You're talking about the list of all the people honored.
Yeah, that was a recent.
Well, Nancy, we can circulate that after the meeting, I think, but I think maybe just the touch points for me are, making sure we're set on the date. It seems like we are. The place, we have the funding committed from the county, at least in a certain level to cover food and the event location or venue costs. And we just need to figure out, what this award cost is going to be. We have a little money from the county that helps support that, great. If not, I would like to encourage us to do that. And, as Slater says, maybe pass the hat just a little bit, but I would definitely be in favor of supporting that and would do so personally.
Yeah, I just pulled up the list. Conservation Legacy Award. 2014, Bill and Mabel Duckett. 2016, Shirley Ann and Charlie McCullough. And 2017, former county chair David Gant. And so it was only given those 3 years. And actually in 2017, we didn't have a conservationist of the year because we only had like 3 or 4 donors that year, and we chose not to do it. So the last conservation of the year was 2016 with Janet Peterson. So anyway, I think you're right, Greg. We just have got to get the money down, and we got to find out how much a sign costs versus a plaque. So yeah.
I think this is just last thing I'll say on this. So conservationist of the year is typically like a family that has done multiple easements or has had something, or at least an easement, and is just very instrumental in spreading the word or doing different conservation work. Is that the idea? That it's somebody who has done an easement on the property?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
Come on.
I was thinking that
One of those
Comes to
30.
mind.
Aubrey and Rita Wells
Yeah.
is the family that I was thinking would be a good one, because they've done an easement with us and they've done an easement with Jess. I don't know if that's what you were about to say, Jess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That came to mind for me too.
Yeah, they would be a great family, I think, to honor with that, since they've done multiple easements. They've done a lot of work with soil and water, and
They've also been instrumental in helping us with the Young Home Place work that we're doing, trying to get that one across the line. They've been helpful there. They manage Patsy's land. And they also have land outside Buncombe County, I think, that they've alluded to having thoughts of conservation about in the future. So
yeah, so that's a potential idea for the conservationist of the year.
Okay.
Ariel, it looked like Kimberly had a question in the chat. No, you're good. Who would people need to make the donation check to for the recognition item?
It would be, I believe it would be Buncombe County Soil and Water, but Buncombe SWCD, because we're doing all the purchasing. But yeah, I think you can make the check to Buncombe SWCD. And then we'll be able to add that to the budget.
Okay. And maybe when we circulate that list, if you will put that in the email as well, I mean, that'd be great. You or Ariel, whoever's sending that out.
Yeah.
As a reminder, so if you want to make some contribution there, that'd be great. The mailing list was the other thing we were trying to always work on, of good addresses for people, names, spouses, or other partners. That usually took a little bit of work in the mailing to get that out.
Yes. Yeah, our plan so I have been working on that list. And so I think we're at a place where I can send that out to the board, and then you just email me changes and we can keep that up to date. We have a plan to do the mailing within our office. We have a couple, the cooperative extension admin and our admin kind of gonna, team up and try to do the physical mailings. And then there's some emailings too. So that's kind of our plan at this point. I think in the past Riverlink did it, but I think, we're working on an invitation design as well. So we'll send that out to you guys to approve.
Perfect. Any other comments, questions about the donor dinner? All right, we'll move on, I think, on the agenda for any further discussion or comments. Glad to see you coming in.
Thanks very much. I've been here. I've just been doing some things off screen.
Yeah, anything you need to let us know about?
I don't think so. I just sent Ariel a couple of conservation easements that we're looking at in fiscal year 24. I've just been getting a ton of calls from landowners over the last couple of weeks. So, that list might grow, but those are the two we feel pretty good about. So yeah, kind of an exciting time. A lot of people reaching out with creekside, streamside, riverside land, looking at conservation. And so we're getting really excited about the opportunity to shore up riparian buffers just all over the watershed. Yeah, a lot more to follow.
Good, good. Anything else?
The last thing I'll say, I just sent it in the chat. The county has just released an Esri story map, which is basically like an interactive map website. I might have mentioned this in over the last few months, but it's now live. We're doing some publicity around it. There might be like some articles around talking about it, but basically it's illustrating Ag Advisory Board and LCAB and the process that we went through, our evaluation process, but also how we came to those priority maps that we've been working on over the last year or so. So you'll be able to click that link and kind of walk through the story map. So we were hoping it was, providing some transparency to the process, and if people are interested in seeing what regions are priority for conservation. But yeah, so share it if you want to, and it's finally done.
All right, and Ariel, your schedule over the next few months?
Yeah, so I'm good for the next few months. Yeah, my maternity leave will start mid-July probably. So I'm here for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
great.
cramming it all in before the summer.
Right,
So,
running really fast. I'm
yeah,
sure.
but Elfnie will be your gal for the summer months, and she'll be fantastic. So if you need, and she has our whole team if she needs support too. So.
All right. Anything else? Great to see everybody. Thanks for your time this morning, and we will stand adjourned.
Hey, Greg, I have one question. Abdi,
Go
have
ahead,
we got
Bob.
another meeting here at 9 for the subcommittee for the open space?
No, I think I sent out an email, but that has been delayed, or that has been moved to an undetermined
It's
time.
postponed, basically.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just forgot to delete it from my calendar. I'm sorry. Okay.
No
Great,
worries.
everybody.
It's basically because there's this new open space bond manager, and so she's trying to organize the process a bit more, and we didn't have quite enough ready to have this board meeting. So probably I would say next month it will happen.
Gotcha. Great. Thanks for that.
Yeah,
Thanks,
good
Greg.
question, Bob. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.